He was just doing his job, quiet, unnoticed, blending into the background. But when a black belt saw him, it wasn't respect he showed. It was a challenge, a test. Just for fun. What happened next shattered every expectation and left a crowd speechless. This wasn't just a fight. It was a moment that revealed something far deeper, something that cuts to the core of how we see each other. How far would you go when judged not by who you are, but by the color of your skin? This is a story you can't look away from. Marcus had spent years quietly working as a janitor at the local community center. Every day, he moved through the halls with a calm presence, cleaning floors and fixing what was broken, never asking for attention. Outside of work, he lived a simple life, close to his family and friends, proud but unnoticed by most. To Marcus, the center was more than a job. It was a place where people from all walks of life crossed paths. His routine was unremarkable. Early mornings, late evenings, hours spent making sure others could enjoy a clean, safe space. Marcus wasn't flashy, and he didn't want to be. He took pride in his work, but over the years, he'd learned to keep his head down. There were subtle reminders everywhere that, no matter how hard he worked, he was often seen as invisible, just the janitor, not the man. The community center itself was a mix of hope and tension, kids learning, families gathering, but also a reflection of a society still divided. Marcus had witnessed countless small moments of bias, the kind that go unnoticed but build up over time. Yet he never spoke out. Until the day a black belt martial artist walked in and turned everything upside down. What started as a casual, fun challenge would soon expose the harsh realities Marcus faced every day. Marcus never expected a simple day at work to turn into a moment he would never forget. The community center was usually a place of quiet routine, until the afternoon when the black belt walked through the door. Tall, confident, and with an air of superiority, he scanned the room as if looking for something, or someone, to prove a point. When his eyes landed on Marcus, there was a spark, almost a challenge. Without a word, he approached, his tone casual but edged with something sharp. "You up for sparring?" "Just for fun." At first, Marcus hesitated. He wasn't a fighter, never claimed to be. But there was something in the man's gaze that felt like more than just a friendly invitation. It was a test, a way to put Marcus in his place. The other staff and visitors started to gather around, their curious eyes flickering between the two men. Whispers filled the air, some with doubt, others with anticipation. Marcus felt the weight of those stares, heavy with unspoken assumptions. The fight began awkwardly. Marcus moved carefully, dodging and parrying with surprising skill born from years of navigating hard days and harder people. The black belt's attacks were swift, calculated, but Marcus refused to back down. With every move, every block, he chipped away at the expectation that he was just the janitor, invisible, underestimated, easy to dismiss. The crowd's mood shifted, the tension rising as Marcus held his ground. Time seemed to stretch. The crowd's murmurs grew louder, some encouraging Marcus, others waiting for him to falter. The fight became less about sport and more about something raw and unspoken: pride, respect, and an invisible line that Marcus had no intention of crossing. But then, just as it seemed Marcus might actually surprise everyone, the black belt's expression changed. It hardened. His strikes grew harsher, not just to win the spar, but to send a message. Marcus could feel the anger behind each blow, the weight of a prejudice that ran deeper than the fight itself. This wasn't about sport anymore. It was about power, about control, about reminding Marcus of where he supposedly belonged. Marcus's breathing grew heavy, sweat burning his eyes. But his focus sharpened. Every strike that landed wasn't just pain. It was a reminder of every insult he had swallowed, every door closed, every time he was dismissed. And with each movement, he wasn't just fighting the black belt. He was fighting every stereotype that had tried to define him. As the fight reached its peak, Marcus's breath was heavy, sweat blurring his vision. Yet something inside him flared, a quiet defiance, a refusal to be broken by more than fists. He remembered every time he'd been overlooked, every insult disguised as a joke, every moment his dignity had been chipped away. This was his stand. Just when it seemed the black belt would overpower him, Marcus landed a move so unexpected, so strong, it stunned everyone, including the man who had challenged him. The room fell silent. The very air seemed to hold its breath. No one could believe what had just happened. But beneath the shock, something more profound stirred, a silent acknowledgement that Marcus was more than what they had assumed. And then, before anyone could react, the black belt did something no one expected, something that would change the story forever. But what? The answer is not just about a fight. It's about what happens when respect is demanded where none was given, and what courage looks like in a world still struggling with injustice. The room was thick with tension. Marcus's heart thundered, not from the fight, but from the weight of what this moment truly meant. The black belt's eyes bore into him, no longer just an opponent, but a symbol of a system ready to break anyone who dared defy it. Suddenly, the man's voice cut through the silence, sharp and cold, laced with disdain. This wasn't about sparring anymore. It was about reminding Marcus exactly where he belonged, beneath the spotlight, under judgment, stripped of dignity. As the black belt launched his final strike, Marcus felt more than the sting of the blow. He felt the crushing force of years of prejudice, the countless times his worth had been dismissed because of the color of his skin. Pain burned through his body, but the deeper ache was the realization that this fight was never just physical. It was a battle for respect, for recognition, for humanity. The crowd watched, some cheering, others frozen, caught between shock and discomfort. Marcus's breath was ragged, sweat mixing with tears he refused to shed. In that moment, the black belt's mask slipped, revealing something raw, a flicker of doubt, maybe even regret. But the damage was done. Marcus knew this fight had changed him forever, whether they understood it or not. Then, the unexpected happened. Instead of gloating or turning away, the black belt extended his hand. The gesture was silent but seismic, a moment that could heal or deepen the divide. Marcus stared, breath caught between disbelief and cautious hope. What would he do? Accept the hand and rewrite the narrative, or walk away carrying the scars of this painful encounter? The room held its breath, waiting for an answer that would echo far beyond these walls. Because this wasn't just a fight. It was a turning point, for Marcus, for those watching, and for a world still grappling with the legacy of injustice.